you are not training to off somebody in a self-defense course. Many times people who train self-defense martial arts are ridiculing sports martial arts because they think, like in a real fight, there's no rules. And we train to kill somebody and, to take them really off. And I'm like, are you trained that? How do you train that? Do you actually like off people in training? Like that doesn't sound like a sustainable business model or training model. Like you people gotta survive, right? How do you train that? And so then they explain it. I'm like, yeah, so you don't actually train to kill people, right? You don't do that. Like if you train to hack somebody on the throat, do you do it? Or do you not? Because if you don't, then you actually train to hit very close to the neck and then retract very quickly. So you don't actually train what you think you train. You train to not hurt people at all. You don't even train to actually fight. It's more akin to movie fighting, to choreography. In sports martial arts, in fighting, we actually train to fight. I actually hit somebody on their head with quite a surprising amount of power, just not enough to actually hurt them. And that's the difference. In training martial arts, in training to fight, you always need to weigh two things: effectiveness and trainability. How effective is what you train, the technique you want to learn, and how realistically can you actually train it? Like boxers train extremely realistic for boxing. They do exactly what they do in competition in the training. Wrestlers do exactly the same thing. Jiu-jitsu heroes do the exact same thing. MMA fighters do the exact same thing. The only difference on the street in what they would do would be that they have no gloves and that they are not redacted by rules, that they will do anything in their power. And trust me, the referee is direly needed in a competition. But if you don't have any of that, if you always know what exact technique your attacker will do in training, then you don't even train to fight at all, because you're not training to react to an unknown attack. You train a choreography where you know exactly when, what you will do. That's nothing of fighting. Whatever movement you do, it's not fighting until there is the uncertainty about what your opponent, your attacker will do, when and what, and how hard. So you need to have realistic sparring, and to have that, you need to only practice techniques that you can do in training and in self-defense. Otherwise, you are just training absolute utter nonsense.